Good morning, my brothers and sisters. We are going to hear a story about being thrown down from the throne. This is season 27, episode number 44 in the book of Revelation. We're going to do chapter 12, verse 7. So turn to that now. So after our glimpse in chapter 11 about how things were all going to turn out, God introduces this great enemy. And great battles are going to take place before the place and person and the products of evil are finally decided and defeated. So today we're going to hear about a war of good and evil, God versus Satan, God's army specifically of angels versus Satan's army of angels. And just in case you're wondering how this turns out, God wins. In fact, the bad guy is thrown down. It's a state of a condition where it focuses on the suddenness and the force of the action. It's to be put in place with power, to be cast with effect. So it's what happens when an inferior force, Satan's, is expelled by a superior force, God's. So here it is. This is Satan being thrown down to earth in chapter 12 of the book of Revelation. Verse 7. Now war arose in heaven. Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. And the dragon and his angels fought back. Verse 8. But he was defeated. The dragon is defeated. And there was no longer any place for them in heaven. Verse 9. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent, who was called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Okay, that's it for the reading today. That's Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 through 9. So when is this? Well, we're in a time of what's called the tribulation. It's a part of a 7-year period. It's near the last part of it. And some characters, got to know who they are. So Michael, so who is he? So Michael is an archangel of the leader of God's army, has some sort of an authority structure that he's at top of God's faithful angels. That means that he and all his army have followed every single command that God has ever given them. He's been a defender of the people of Israel, God's people, for thousands of years, and he's the leader of this army of unfallen angels. And even his name is worshipful. His name means who is like God, ? He asks a question, a worship question. It's not a statement, Michael, who is like God, period. No, nothing could be further from the truth. It's who is like God, with the answer being nobody. God alone is to be worshipped. And Michael's very presence and character, and specifically his faithfulness over thousands of years, is an affront to Satan, who fundamentally has already and irreversibly got this essential question wrong. So Satan, so what does it say on Satan's business card? Well, he's the chief evil being. He is the slanderer. He's the adversary, like a legal adversary. He is the principal, specific, supernatural evil being. His name defines opposition to God, means defiance to God. He's misplacing himself above God. He's doing this self-worship. And then Michael is doing the opposite, where his name means transcendence of God, elevation of God. All right, Michael is an archangel. Satan is an angel. Both are being followed by angel armies. And this is an angelic battle. So it's God's created, organized, faithful angels are going to defeat God's created, organized, unfaithful angels. And where's this happening? Well, ironically, it's happening in heaven, which is kind of interesting because Satan, for a time, has access to heaven. And God must have been hearing his accusations for, thousands of years against believers. In Job chapter 1, it says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from going to and fro the earth and walking up and down on it. So apparently heaven's not Satan's residence, but he did somehow have the ear of God. And he's going to be displaced from that now. Now he's going to be no further place before the throne of God. No more access, no more accusations. So what happens in the war? How does this turn out? Well, he's thrown down, cast out, defeated. So yes, there's a war, but not much of a war. The outcome is never in doubt. He is defeated, thrown down dragon, thrown down Satan, thrown down serpent, angels thrown down, fallen angels thrown down. There's a passage in Colossians 2:15. It says that he, Jesus, disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him. And this is similarly a triumph, no question about it, defeat in war. All right, so in conclusion today, let me wrap this up. We hear today of angels who get it wrong and angels that get it right. The devil, the deceiver, is defeated and displaced. So it's not going to go well for creatures that get it wrong. And here's the difference. In Hebrews 2:16 it says, "For surely it's not angels that he helps, but he helps the offspring of Abraham." So remedy is available for humans who find themselves on the wrong team. So even if light bulbs are going off on Satan's team, that, oh, my leader's not ultimately powerful, guess what? They're going to be thrown down with effect by this faithful army. Stick around. The next 10 chapters, we'll talk about that. Now, Satan's going to rage a bit, but ultimately there's nothing that Satan can do to change his powerlessness. He's going to rage, but it's not going to last. And people are going to realize that they might be on the wrong team. And without faith, without change, every single person on the planet is already on the wrong team of God. That whoever does not believe is condemned already. So we start kind of from a bad way. We all have angels. We all have agency, and angels start sinless. But they have an agency, free will, to go away from God. And people start stained with sin, but have agency to go toward God. So let's get this right. It's like watching a football game until the last commercial break, and your team is supposedly winning, and you think you're wearing the winning jersey, and then very near the end, your team is thrown down. So here's the good news. You can put on the right jersey and be on the winning team if you do it before the game is over. So get on the right team. If you don't know you're on the right team, then you are actually on the wrong team. Yikes. So the charge is, get on the right team today. Put on the right jersey. Don't be thrown down out of the throne room. Thanks for listening.